kind of what's your approach this year, just knowing you guys are starting on the back this year, that you've got everybody coming back to the chemistry this year?
Yeah, I'd say our chemistry is really good, which that makes it easier and fun. But my approach definitely is to work as hard as I can and to stay focused. Our team's approach, stay focused and stay together.
How did the end of last year kind of affect how you guys have drove into preseason this year and kind of having that desire and confidence?
I think the end of last year, we all did a lot of reflection, and I think none of us were satisfied. Like, yeah, it was nice to make it to the tournament, and it was a good first time for many people. But there was, I guess, there's like, it was happiness, but not satisfaction. So if you could find a way in between that.
What did it maybe kind of do with you guys adding some depth this season, maybe not having to play as many minutes? Did you kind of feel yourself, you kind of maybe wearing down toward the end of the season? And what was that kind of like for you?
I feel like towards the end of the season, you kind of just get locked in on winning. So you'll do whatever you have to do. I mean, we have the best treatment things here. So, like, maybe we felt our legs, but it's not something that we're ever going to talk about or think about. Like, you just kind of do your treatment and take as best care of your body as you can.
What's this off season been like for you? What have you kind of been building toward for yourself into the season?
I feel like this off season I've been having to like build mentally, basketball wise, and mostly off the court. I went through a little bit of adversity, but just like push through and get stronger and grow from it.
How do you feel about just kind of your on the court kind of play? I mean, players always kind of try to go into the offseason, kind of put something into the box. Is there something you kind of tried to work on?
I'd say that I just want to keep getting better and like growing my skills and becoming like a smarter point guard / player. So I'd say what I'm putting in my toolbox is more IQ of the game.
How do you balance that? I know last year you played great, more often than you ever have, and you had to develop the ability to take over, know when to take over, and know when to get all other four players involved.
Yeah, I think for any guard who like goes from point guard to off guard, I think it's always not difficult, but it's always something that like you have to switch gears because you have to think differently and you're playing the floor differently. So I think you just have to switch gears, but like being focused, it's easier to switch gears than when you're not.
With Corey Allen and Gretchen Dolan coming in, what have you kind of maybe just kind of done with them, kind of taking them under your wing? What have you kind of worked on with them?
I think just knowing that they are freshmen, but they're awesome. This group of freshmen, I feel like they came in with ease. And I know it might be like a battle for them each day just because like we all have years in the weight room and things like that. But they transition well. I try to give them tips when they need, energy when they need, yell at them if they need. So things like that.
What just as a team, where are you guys at? Just comparing last summer to this summer, having the whole year with Shauna. Where's this kind of team at? Just going into this season.
I just say we're steadily growing. That's the only thing that you could really want from a team is to stay together and to continue to grow. And as long as we keep growing, sky's our limit.
How do you handle whatever hype comes your way, with the preseason, accolades and honors and all those things? Is it similar to like halfway through last year when people kind of knew who you were and what kind of player you were, and they kind of work on you, or how do you handle it?
Well, it doesn't really, like, I really appreciate it and I'm grateful for it, but I don't know, it doesn't like really faze me much. I just think I do what I have to do on the court. I know I work hard, so I receive the awards and I'm grateful. But at the end of the day, like, I just go home and I'm a college student,
How does having, like you said, like your top six back, you and Jen being in the same backcourt, is there things that you feel like, are easier, just from like I said, a chemistry standpoint, that where Jen's out on the floor all the time now? It's not, you don't have to work at it.
Definitely. And just with like, I think just knowing people, it makes heat of the moments easier. meaning like if we're in a tough possession or something and the boys are kicking our butt in practice, like we can like have a heat of the moment and know that when we walk off the court, it's not going to affect our relationship. And same with everybody else on the team, pretty much. So communication.
What's the chemistry maybe just been like, to have all the returning players, but then sort of maybe incorporate a couple new pieces like you have coming in with 2 transfers and 2 freshmen?
I think our chemistry is really good. We have a team psychologist who works with us a lot. We do a lot of team bonding. We all hang out. Like, even though things are like picking up and getting busy, we would always make an intention to like eat together or do things like that. So I think our chemistry is pretty good. And you also build chemistry by playing every day and battling against some hard boys. So
Does it help too that Brendan was talking about you guys pretty much all live in the same apartment? Does that kind of just help with that relationship? You're always kind of around each other.
yeah, I think it helps a lot. I actually don't live over there with
Okay.
them, so I have to be really intentional with it. But when I'm here and things like that, because we spend a lot of time here each day, just like really dive into each relationship.
How do you feel like, especially like when you're going on the road, going to Washington D.C., playing with maybe a number by your name, starting this year? I mean, I feel like you guys maybe before Christmas were still kind of new, and everybody was getting used to how well you were playing, and it just seemed like you guys are going to show up day one with a target on your back.
Yeah, I think starting with the number is just even more of a target because I think people still kind of don't believe in us, which is fine. Like, we never needed anybody to believe in us but us. So we're just going to go be us, play hard, and yeah.
Compared to last year, this time last year, how do you feel? How was the team like? How do you like? What's the team feel like compared to last season? How do you think it's different now that's your second year and that second year under Shauna?
I'd say just like comfortability. Everybody's more comfortable. People know Coach Green more. We all know each other more, so that makes everything easier. So friendships are able to flourish. Communication, and it just makes everything easier, like knowing people, trust.
And for you, this being your second year here, how do you feel it'd be different for you personally now being your second year?
I think what will be different is just that people in the conference like know my name and know my game, but they know my game from last year, so that's why the off seasons are really important of working and continuing to grow your skills.
Yeah.
So I guess that'd be different, but I'm a different player this year.
What kind of differences have you added to your game, or what have you been working on this off season in particular?
Just like some different things, like working on being more intuitive.
I was just going to kind of, piggybacking off this question, but, how teams adjusted to you in the second half maybe, or the second time they played you in Big Ten played, how much can you maybe learn from that process going into the second year for yourself?
I can learn a lot from it, and I think that's why I put such a big emphasis on being intuitive, just because they can play you however they want to play that game, or I don't know, it just, you always have to read how they're playing you. So watching how they played me in the first half and in the second half, it's different from both. So just continuing to be able to read them.
Is that just a lot of film work, or what does that kind of intuitive lift look like for you?
I'd say it is film. My position coach, Coach Max, she's really smart. So like, I'm learning new things from her every day. Like sometimes in film, I have to, like, my brain is just like swirling because she's so good with it and things like that. But I'd say film, I visualize a lot, like after I've learned something. And then, I mean, you have to mess up in order to grow. So like practices aren't always pretty for me. And yeah.
All good?
Yep.